Time for some Sunday showdowns. We go through every game on the Sunday slate. We give you our starts, sits, sleepers, bewares, all of that stuff. And we will start with the Chiefs and 49ers, which has a little extra intrigue to it now with Christian McCaffrey in a 49er uniform. So, Rank, what are you looking at here?
I'm going to say that Juju Smith-Schuster is a sleeper. Yeah, I don't know. I think with a number of wide receivers, big-time wide receivers, not available for you this week, you can go ahead and put Juju in your lineup. As you see right there, the totals on the board are correct. He leads all wide receivers in targets, receptions, receiving yards for the Chiefs. Not the entire NFL, but for the Chiefs. I will caution you, the 49ers defense has allowed the fewest yards per game this season, so it's not a great matchup. But again, with all those big-time wide receivers on a bye, you could do worse.
You definitely could do worse. And I think you should sit the 49ers running back this week, but not the one that you're probably thinking. I think Jeff Wilson Jr. is a sit. To be fair, I had him as a sit even before the Christian McCaffrey news. He just had 7 touches last week, and the thing is, he is super game script dependent. He is less than 2 fantasy points all year when the Niners are down by a touchdown or more. So, and now with Christian McCaffrey there, especially, potentially taking red zone usage away, get far, far away from Jeff Wilson.
How long until CMC makes Wilson an offer to get number 22 off of his back? I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a sleeper, and I thought this before the Christian McCaffrey trade was coming in. This is a game script that potentially leans toward the Niners having to throw the football a lot. And it sort of went that way last week against Atlanta. And even though the fantasy numbers didn't bear it out, Garoppolo threw the ball 41 times for 296 yards. The Chiefs defense, far from being an immovable object. 3 different quarterbacks have gone for 300 plus and 3 touchdowns against Kansas City. I don't know if Garoppolo hits those heights, but I think he does pretty well. Lions and the Cowboys, a very intriguing fantasy matchup this week. Rank, what are you looking at?
Well, I'm going to say beware of Dalton Schultz. If you listen to Jerry Jones's radio show this week, the owner/general manager sounded a little surprised that Dalton was a last-moment scratch on Sunday evening. Almost seemed a little irritated by it as well. Kind of dismissed any notion that there could be a potential tight end controversy, but we had been hoping that with the return of Dak Prescott, that perhaps Dalton Schultz could start to see some of the production that made him a promising tight end prospect this season. But, man, you got to be very careful. Be very aware of whether he's playing or not.
Dalton Schultz might not be playing, but his quarterback is. And if Dak is back for the Cowboys, I think Dak should be back in your starting lineups. Look, he's Dak Prescott. He led this offense to be the top scoring offense in the game last year. I think he has a higher ceiling, though, because he could be rushing more as he's further away from that leg injury. And he's playing the Lions, who Rank will tell you, they're not very good.
Yeah, you guys finally came around on that.
I mean, they're fun to watch, but no, they're not very good. A guy that you can start for sure this week, at least I believe it, is Ezekiel Elliott, who really has been running the football pretty effectively the last couple of weeks. 159 combined rush yards in the last 2 games. The Lions have given up the 5th most rushing yards in the league, which is impressive when you figure they've played 1 fewer game than just about every team in the NFL so far. I expect the Cowboys will take a lead and look for them to grind out the clock, kind of that 4-minute offense mode for good chunks of the second half, which means potentially a whole lot of Ezekiel Elliott. Falcons and Bengals, and you have another running back that you're being wary of, huh?
Oh, yeah, Caleb Huntley, who I really like. I think that when you watch him play, he's a promising guy. There's a lot of good things that jump off the tape. Unfortunately, I hate this matchup against the Cincinnati Bengals. As you see right there, they've allowed 1 rushing touchdown to running backs this season. I want you all to take note of that moving forward when you're setting your lineups for the rest of the season. Remember, this Bengals defense plays really well stopping the run.
Another kind of running back that you should be aware of, Marcus Mariota. I know he's a quarterback, but he's averaging.
Don't do that.
He's averaging 19 pass attempts per game. What is he doing in the NFL?
Partially because he ran well.
Yeah. Like he's putting up fantasy points because he's been running well, and that always keeps him in play as a streamer. But I think this is a week. The Bengals defense, like Rank said, has been playing really good. Their secondary has been stingy. If you don't get the rushing numbers out of Marcus Mariota, you're looking at a very safe floor. He is a passer.
I'm not going to be a negative Nelly about this one. I'm going to say that you can stream Hayden Hurst. And I know when we talk about this Bengals passing game, we talk about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and I guess maybe to some extent Tyler Boyd. But Hayden Hurst is still a big part of what they do. You see that they're receiving touchdowns in 2 of the last 3 games, which if you're talking about a streaming tight end, sometimes that's all you want. But Hurst running a lot of routes, getting a lot of looks from Joe Burrow, and I think the Bengals can put up some points. So hopefully Hayden Hurst is a part of that. Back to some Sunday showdowns. Our next game up is going to be the Steelers and the Dolphins. Sunday night football. And Rank, we're not liking the tight end, huh?
Mike Gesicki.
Yeah.
Gesicki.
Gesicki.
I'm going to be aware of him. He's struggled. Actually, the thing is, the Steelers can't stop any of the outside guys. So Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle are going to go wild. They've done a pretty nice job at slowing down opposing tight ends. So if you've been streaming at the position, I would suggest that you go look elsewhere.
And just like Rank said, the receivers are going to have a big day. That's why I think Tua Tagovailoa is a must-start option this week. The Steelers have allowed the 6th most fantasy points to quarterbacks, but it's the receivers, like Rank said. They allow by far the most production. And Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, with the deep ball being back, that's the one thing that was missing from this offense without Tua. I think it could be a huge day for them against a very banged-up Steelers secondary.
Rank is concerned about the Dolphins tight end. I'm a little more optimistic about the Steelers tight end. I think you can stream Pat Freiermuth this week. Coming back after being in concussion protocol, missing last week's game, generally has been a big part of what the Steelers do through the air. 7 or more targets in 3 of the 4 full games he has played this season. Dolphins have allowed 38 receptions to tight ends, 3rd most in the NFL. Jets and the Broncos, and we're still hanging with the kids in the hall, huh?
Absolutely. I know a lot of people are concerned because this Broncos defense has been pretty good this season, but I think Breece Hall has now come to the point where he's a must-start every week. I know that you likely drafted him as a backup, perhaps a flex option, but he's now earned that spot in your lineup where you just don't have to think about it. Him, Kenny Walker, those guys, yeah, they're in your lineup now. Set them, forget them, and just worry about the bye weeks.
Yeah, Breece Hall is a must-start. Unfortunately, no one on the Broncos is, and I think the closest thing to a must-start is Courtland Sutton, but I would beware of him this week. Russell Wilson is banged up, a true game-time decision, and Sutton is coming off his worst game of the year where he scored less than 4 fantasy points and was the wide receiver 68 plus. Oh, he's going to see a lot of Sauce Gardner this week, who's been playing great football and shutting down other receivers. So you might not have another option because of the buys, but if you do, I would go the other way.
You know, between Gardner and Pat Surtain, the cornerbacks might be 2 of the more interesting players in this game. I'm going to tell you, you got to sit any Broncos running back so far this week. Everything about this offense is a mess. They're 24th in pass DVOA, 27th in rush DVOA. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. It's a fancy math way of saying this Broncos offense is not very good. Now we're looking at a potentially 3-headed attack with Latavius Murray, Melvin Gordon, and Mike Boone all working together against a Jets defense that honestly has not been terrible against the run. So I don't want any part of this.
Wouldn't the Broncos be better if Russ is out?
Maybe.
Maybe.
At least that way you know what to do.
I mean, think about it. Like, Cooper Rush has done really well.
Who knows?
Bailey Zappi.
All right. So we're all on the
I'm
Brett
telling
Rippon
you,
train.
I think you actually might be better off. But
Giants, Jags, what are you doing here?
let's stream quarterback Daniel Jones this week. I know that because he's mostly a running back, right? Because he mostly does. He does most of his
He
damage.
averages 20 passes per game.
No, but he runs a lot. Listen, he's had at least 6 rushes every game. Why don't we say that Daniel Jones is like a running back? That's weird.
He's not getting all his production from the ground.
He ran for 2 touchdowns against the Bears, but it's like, look, I think that when you look at this matchup against the Jags, I think there's a good opportunity for him. When we talked about a lot of the streaming options for quarterbacks on Thursday, or pretty much the entirety of the week, we've not talked about Daniel Jones, but yet the Giants are sitting there at 5-1, doing a pretty good job of moving the football. Perhaps we should get, I say this because I had to pick him up in the league, but I think it's pretty good.
I'm streaming Daniel Jones in a couple of leagues this week because of the buys as well. I also really like Travis Etienne in this matchup, and I think he is a player that you should be starting everywhere you have him. He's played more snaps than James Robinson in each of the last 3 weeks. He's taken over all of the pass work there while splitting carries with Robinson. You see there, he leads all running backs in yards per touch because he's very explosive. He's topped 100 yards in 2 straight games, and the Giants have been ran all over this year. So great week to get Etienne in your lineup.
I know folks love Etienne, and I get it, but I think James Robinson has some sleeper appeal this week. Part of what has happened in this Jaguars backfield is that when games are still close, Robinson's getting a lot more opportunities. And here's the thing, the Giants being 5-1 is great, they're not exactly running teams out of their building. Their average margin of victory has been about 4 points so far this season. I think this game stays close. I think Robinson gets plenty opportunity, and I think he puts together a pretty good game against the New York Football Giants. Showdown, speaking of the Panthers, they are hosting the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and what are you doing here, Rank?
Well, I got a sleeper in Cade Otton, who last time Cameron Brate missed a game, he ended up playing 94% of the snaps, had close to double-digit fantasy points depending on whether you play half-point PPR or not. And you know what? Pretty good matchup against the Carolina Panthers. So if you're, again, who were we talking about earlier who has been Gesicki? I would bench Gesicki, and I would rather play Cade Otton.
I'm with you on that one, and I'm definitely playing his quarterback, Tom Brady. I know Tom Brady hasn't been the GOAT like he normally is, but he's still, against this Carolina defense, he goes off. He's averaged 24 fantasy points in his last 3 games against them. He has 8 touchdowns and no giveaways in those 3 games. And the last month, he's been averaging over 300 yards per game. He just needs some touchdowns. I think the Pharaoh is going to get it this week.
The Pharaoh will rule against the Carolina Panthers. Packers, Commanders, Brian Robinson, pretty good last week. What do you expect of him this week? He was okay, all right.
Listen, Bill Ware, he's not involved in the passing game, which is a concern. He's not averaging, as you see right there, he's averaging just over 3 yards per carry. His touchdown happened last week because there was a special teams breakdown for the Bears. To me, going up against this Packers team, until we see more out of Brian Robinson, until he gets back completely healthy from his injury, it's great. I mean, it's a great story. I love seeing him out there. But at the same time, I don't think that I can trust him moving forward.
It's been hard to trust Packers wide receivers, but I do think Romeo Doubs is a sleeper this week for Green Bay. Washington has the league's 18th ranked pass defense, which is not great, not terrible either. They're also one of the heavier man defense teams in the league, and that is where Doubs is earning a lot of his targets. I do think this is a week that the Packer passing game kind of gets into gear a little bit. I think Allen Lazard has some value. I think Romeo Doubs has some sleeper value as well. Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, longtime rivalry in the AFC North. Florio, what you got?
Someone new to the rivalry, Amari Cooper. I think he's a start, and honestly, I think he's just become a must-start player at this point. He's the wide receiver 6 since week 2, and he has at least 10 targets in 4 of his 5 games since then. And at that point, when we're talking about double-digit targets every single week for a player as talented as Amari Cooper, who can stretch the field, who is their go-to red zone target, I think he's just someone that you just set in your lineup and you don't think twice about it.
Talked at the top of the show about J.K. Dobbins missing extended time, and that definitely bodes well for Kenyon Drake. Played very well last week against the Giants when Dobbins went out with that knee stiffness, and he gets a great matchup against a Cleveland defense that ranks 23rd in rushing defense, and you see there has given up the most fantasy points per game to running backs over the last 2 weeks. The Ravens still want to run, and I think it's going to be Kenyon Drake that gets a whole lot of the work. All right, let's finish our Sunday showdowns with the Colts and the Titans. Broadway Rank, you can keep it going here.
What am I doing? What did I say? Beware of Robert Woods. Sorry, I flipped all my cards. I don't know. You know what? I think that the Colts secondary has been playing pretty well, and I don't think that Robert Woods, when we're looking at all these receivers that you could possibly go and pick up, I don't know. Robert Woods scared me a little bit. I don't know. He just doesn't look like the Robert Woods of old yet. And until we see that player, I'm going to leave him on my bench.
I'm with you on that one. I think this is a week to get away from Bobby Trees, but I also think it is a week to get Michael Pittman Jr. in every single lineup that you can. He came back last week with a huge game and showed everyone, like, hey, I'm still a wide receiver 1 that you can start without question every single week. But then the Titans have allowed the second most fantasy points to receivers. And I said earlier about Alec Pierce that he plays well against zone coverage. Michael Pittman Jr. takes it to another level. He could have a huge game this week. I would definitely be starting him.
Texans and Raiders, and you're sort of nervous about something, right?
Oh my God, I got more of these? Look at how much I prepared for the guarantees. I'm afraid of all the Raiders wide receivers except for Devontae Adams in this one, because Devontae Adams is too good to bench. But you know what? If you look at this Texans defense, they've allowed 1 touchdown to wide receivers this season. They've actually been pretty good against the position, which is why I kind of pivot off of it. And where they've been really vulnerable is against running backs, which is why Josh Jacobs, is Josh Jacobs your guy?
Yeah, that's my guy.
Okay, yeah. Never mind. I'll let Marcus talk about it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, Josh Jacobs, he's my guy because they've been very vulnerable against running backs. You see that 27-plus fantasy points to RBs in 3 of 5 games this season, 27th ranked run defense, and Josh Jacobs has pretty much just taken over as a workhorse there for Las Vegas, playing 74% of the snaps. Last 2 games, touches on more than 50% of the snaps that he has played. Seahawks, Chargers. I feel like this game should be played like in the King. Actually, it would be like the Murph since it's a Charger home game. It should be played there, absolutely.
Well, I'm going to be starting
I'm going to be starting Justin Herbert. I know he's coming off his worst game of the year. You watched it on Monday Night Football. You're freaking out right now. But I still think Justin Herbert is far too good to sit. The upside is high. Quarterback's not as deep as we thought it would be coming into the year, especially this week with all the buys and Seattle. I mean, they're up there with the Lions for the best possible matchup you can have.
Well, I think the matchup is very good for Kenneth Walker, and he's a start for me. I mean, maybe he's a must start even, depending on your situation there, because the Charger run defense is not good. They have given up 3 100-yard rushers so far this season. Even Latavius Murray, I mean, we have dumped on the Broncos backfield, but Latavius Murray came off the bench and ran for 66 yards last week against the Chargers on Monday night. So Kenneth Walker, who is pretty much taken over now that Rashad Penny is injured, I expect he's going to do big things.
Are you besmirching Latavius Murray?
You would be smirching Latavius Murray earlier this week.
No, I wasn't. I was saying I picked him up a couple of weeks ago. I was being besmirched by the public. When I said pick up Latavius Murray, the internet was like, you're so irresponsible. This is not who to pick up. How did that work out for you? Internet guy that I muted?
Internet guy is never going to recover from this.